Thanks for joining us on Nationwide today. I'm Elizabeth Omori. As at 11:34 p.m. on Monday, 25th of May, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control announced 229 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria, bringing the number of confirmed cases to 8,068. Of the 229 new cases, 90 are in Lagos, 27 in Katsina, 26 in Imo, 23 in Kano. FCT recorded 14, with Plateau having 12. Ogun has 9 new cases, 7 in Delta, while Borno and Rivers have 5 cases each. Oyo has 4. Others are Gombe with 3 cases, 2 in Osun, and 1 each in Anambra and Bayelsa states. Lagos still tops the COVID-19 cases chart table with 3,595 cases in total, followed by Kano with 919 cases and the FCT with 519 cases. 2,311 recovered patients have been discharged, with 233 deaths recorded. The Nigerian Armed Forces has intervened in over 500 cases of criminal activities in the last 4 weeks in the face of increasing security challenges in the country. This was highlighted as security experts called for more interagency collaboration and citizens' cooperation while discussing the emerging security challenges on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria. Ekemini Williams reports.
Duration witnessing a spike in security threats from Minna, Jos and Abuja. Analysts and security experts on Good Morning Nigeria spoke with one voice, stressing the need for more coordinated collaboration between all security agencies to fight the security threats. They attributed the current situation to the fact that the country's security architecture is overstretched, as well as probable corruption among some operatives.
There are 27 agencies that are involved in security. If all of these agencies come together, then all of these holes that are being exploited by the threat factors within our environment will be blocked.
I think the security agencies too must purge some of the bad guys within them, because there have been cases of them giving out the names of informants. And that's why you find out that some of the pattern of killings that they do, they enter a city, a village, they'll move straight to a place and kill the whole family. Who are their sponsors? Where are they inside Maiduguri in Nigeria? If you expose them, people will be afraid to even to do those things. But when you keep them under lock and key, it means that even I'm an informant or I'm a sponsor of Boko or a terrorist operation, I'll continue because I think nobody has seen me.
We have found, some weaknesses. The lack of coordinated action, amongst all these adjoining states, I think is a major, weakness.
The recurring incidents of banditry, kidnapping and other criminalities in the different regions were cited as a consistent major security threats. The experts recommended the deployment of sophisticated security tools to combat these crimes, and also suggested the mapping of irregular routes in the country to ensure adequate deployment of operatives to these points.
And it's impossible, frankly, we need to admit that, for one agency, whether the military or the police, to man both the regular and irregular route.
You need some helicopter operations in these sort of situations, because as they are very mobile, you need to be more mobile than them.
All the operations that are tackling all insecurity across the north central, northeast, northwest are all on red alert. Our informants are giving the high level of protection.
General Temlong, who joined the discussion from Jos Studio, suggested the incorporation of a structured citizens' response system into the country's security machinery. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
And for more reports on Nationwide, let's join Hingino John Adams in Lagos. Hello, Hingino.
Hello, Lizzie. It's good to see you. With the coronavirus pandemic at play, there are new methods to old ways, from polite salutations to social interactions. Everyone is adjusting to set guidelines, and this attitude reflected in the Eid al-Fitr, which was celebrated without fanfare in Lagos. Dr. Oguyemi reports that while medical workers are at the forefront of the war against the virus, the home front is where people are renewing their bonds through prayers and more interactive celebrations.
It is a holiday to celebrate the Eid al-Kabir, yet the mood around town did not reflect this reality of the event due to COVID-19 restrictions. Muslim faithful could not visit comrades as usual, and NTA crew decided to pay a visit to a home in Lagos to see how members were celebrating the Salah. In the heart of Lagos, Magodo to be precise, we reached out to the Ogbaras. Mrs. Kafilat was kind enough to open her doors to us, but not without observing safety rituals. With the washing of hands done, we got to familiarization, where we met all members of this family of 5. Although they had earlier prayed to mark the Salah at their home mosque due to the closure of religious centers, our arrival coincided with the afternoon prayers.
Allahu Akbar.
Madinat Ogbara is the last born of the family, and though she was a little shy, she shared a bit of her experience since the pandemic became a global center.
And I am very happy I got time to spend with my family, and that people are washing their hands better than normal days, that people will just be touching everywhere, people will be touching the railings, sneezing on their hands and touching other people.
While the times have been trying, members of this family say they have had to improvise new ways to earn a living.
It has been strange, it has been unique. I can say that in the whole of my lifetime, this is the first time we'll be praying Eid at home. We usually go to the Eid ground to pray, even as a child. Since I was born, all my life, every year, we have to go to Eid ground to pray. And then everybody, we shop for new clothing for the children, the family, and everybody.
For the Ogbaras, their prayer is for a quick resolution to contain COVID-19 and a swift return to normalcy. In Lagos, Dotun Oguyemi, NTA News.
More than 100 persons with disability in Ikorodu and Surulere area of Lagos have been presented with palliative cash amounts worth thousands of naira. The gesture is by a group of young Nigerians under the aegis of Strong Ties Empowerment Foundation. Annie Daniels has details.
Stories of persons with disability have always attracted public attention. Amid the COVID-19 lockdown, their plights have remained pathetic, especially because most of those living in the rural areas do not access the required palliatives allocated to them. This is why these young Nigerians, under the aegis of Strong Ties Empowerment Foundation, decided to take their widows' mites to the homes of these category of people in Ikorodu and Surulere areas of Lagos.
We had assist them before with their business, but since lockdown, we know a lot of them are eating into their money for their business. So we decided to just come down here. Here it's closer to most of them, so we decided to meet them here and just assist them with feeding.
So we try because we know that they can't come when it's too far, so we try to reach them very close to their doorstep. So it's just a stone throw away for them to come and pick the few things that we have for them.
Mama Subola Adesonya is a retired major in the military. She makes a case for persons with disability.
They have intelligence, and if you give them work, they will do it.
And for the beneficiaries, their joy knows no bounds.
they give us crutches, wheelchair, and you see all my people have been using it. You see it. So some of my people are using it, the walking stick and everything. So we still need more.
I'm going to manage mine so that even though after the lockdown, I'll still be able to have something to depend on.
With more people coming to the aid of PWDs, seeing to their financial and physical needs, they are optimistic that they will surely live out their dreams. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
And now let's look at business. Post-COVID survival of most small businesses will depend largely on application of innovation by the owners. Abolade Salami, who interacted with some small business operators, reports on plans along these lines.
Economies strive on small and medium-scale enterprises, not only in terms of job creation, but economic diversification and revenue generation accruing from these businesses. Its huge impact on Nigeria's gross domestic product is estimated at about 47.8%, with about 37.1 million MSMEs in the country. These statistics, however, attest to the relevance of the sector.
Again, we are seeing a shift from routine or conventional brick-and-mortar businesses to virtual interface between business and customers. So that will also lead to some businesses becoming completely unviable. So I think in the first place, it takes some time for global consumption and global demand to recover.
Sunday Chukwu, a food vendor like other entrepreneurs, says in the last couple of months, he's been confronted with the challenge of drastic drop in revenue due to the coronavirus pandemic. But this challenge, he said, has provided an opportunity for him to come up with innovations on how to grow his business post-COVID-19.
I will make God help us, because as I did like this, if not because interstate motor no they run, if I don't go my village, go they do farm work. But I know that by the grace of God, God will still help us. Learn many things, because even how to manage things, especially by managing things, because like before, if I say food finish, I will go and drink. But ever since this thing started, everybody have another sense.
While the situation requires more efforts on the part of Sunday towards maximizing profits, Kalu Mabel Tisse described the coronavirus pandemic as a clog in the wheel of progress.
The sales, ever since we opened, after the relaxing, it's nothing to write home about. You can come out in a week, you cannot boast of 2,000, 3,000. You won't even sell even a pin.
Although small and medium-scale businesses are gradually picking up following the ease in the lockdown, most entrepreneurs say a new approach will be infused into the scheme of things in order to survive the times. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
That's all from here. We now take a break. Nationwide continues after that.
I wish to once again commend the frontline workers across the country who, on a daily basis, risk everything to ensure we win this fight. For those who got infected in the line of duty, rest assured that government will do all it takes to support you and your families during this exceedingly difficult period. I will also take this opportunity to assure you all that your safety, well-being, and welfare remains paramount to our government. I am using this opportunity to express our deepest condolences to the families of all Nigerians that have lost their loved ones as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is our collective loss, and we share your grief.
As women, we guard our homes. Coronavirus, COVID-19 is real.
Wash your hands with soap and water regularly.
Use the hand sanitizer always.
Maintain social distance and avoid crowded places.
Disinfect contact surfaces at intervals.
Wear face masks if you must go out.
Share faith, not fear.
Symptoms of COVID-19 are headache, fever, sore throat and dry cough, difficulty in breathing.
If you have this, please seek medical help immediately.
COVID-19 is real. Stay safe. This message is from the Women Wing of Christian Association of Nigeria. Woe with us!
This is a very important message. Operation wear your mask, especially for people who don't old. No forget, your body no tranga like before. You not even tranga like your children or your grandchildren. So therefore, always wear your mask for this pandemic period. No they to receive visitors, so even if not your grandchildren. Make extra mask where you go fit wash, make like 2 and dash your neighbor 1. And if they come out for house, wear your mask always. And if you come back, wash your hand with soap and running water to avoid coronavirus. Make you for live long for your children and your grandchildren. No forget, Operation wear your mask, especially for people who don't old. Protect me, I protect you. Now, Coalition of Societies for the Right of Older Persons in Nigeria, COSROPIN, join body with National Orientation Agency, NOA, bring on this message.
We have observed the lockdown. We have practiced the measures in order to curb the spread of the virus, but we can do better. The coronavirus spread is increasing daily, and only together can we cut down the numbers and defeat the spread of the virus. Remember, COVID-19 is not a death sentence, and a recovered patient cannot spread the disease. Do not stigmatize. Do not hesitate to report any case, or if you have come in contact with anybody that has been infected with COVID-19. If you have cough and fever, please stay at home and call your state hotline. Find state numbers at www.covid19.ncdc.gov.ng. Remember, it is for your own good and for the good of every Nigerian. Let us do better and defeat the virus. Together, we can do this. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Following the rise in the number of COVID-19 cases in Anambra State, the state government is seeking more innovative and proactive measures to contain the deadly pandemic in the state. Governor Willie Obiano, who disclosed this while briefing newsmen, says the barricade at the Niger Braid Head, Onitsha, is to minimize influx of people into the state. Ndem Kalu reports.
Obiano plans to set up a case medication team with seasoned medical practitioners and public health officers who will deliberate and decide the best medical approaches to adopt on a case-by-case basis. Governor Obiano further urges management of all hospitals in the state to create an isolation room where any patient whose sample has been taken for COVID-19 testing can be kept while the result is awaited. Governor Obiano noted that out of the 9 cases recorded, 4 are in the Protective Care Center, 3 discharged, 1 death recorded, a 66-year-old man.
It has come to our knowledge that some of our health workers turn automatically hostile to patients who they suspect to have COVID-19 symptoms. This is not acceptable in the state. We cannot encourage any attitude that will discourage possible COVID-19 patients from walking willingly into our hospitals to reveal their condition.
Governor Obiano gave reasons for the barricade at Niger Bridge Head, Onitsha.
We asked people, both in the Anambra living in various areas and within, to please stay where they are. That's the directive both from the presidency and from all the state governors. Stay where you are while the economy is open within Anambra or other states. And that's the only reason why we had to put that bar to assist the enforcement agents.
The governor, who was optimistic on curtailing the pandemic in the state, advised citizens to continue to adhere to all the safety guidelines as spelled out by the federal and state governments. From the Governor's Lodge, Amobia, Ndem Kalu, NTA News.
Instead of talking COVID-19, the rising paradox of infectious frontline healthcare workers from COVID-19 has continued to engage relevant institutions for material support and insurance cover as professional health bodies move to discover antidote for the defeat of the global coronavirus pandemic. The latest shoulder the frontline health workers is leveraging on is a traditional institution for quicker response to emergency needs. Frontline Health Workers Support Fund is an initiative of professional health bodies to improve its services for safety of frontliners and promote members' welfare. The 5 billion naira proposal under the roof of 9 separate committees is projected to provide personal protective equipment, welfare and insurance cover for health workers. The committee is collaborating with traditional institutions to close the gap of deficit in working tools as well as social frameworks in taming the risk exposed by frontline workers. Owner of Abuja and Chairman FCT Council of Chiefs is spearheading the commitment of traditional rulers to sustaining the platform for actualization of the proposed fund.
And what do we want to do with these budgets? First of all, we want to do insurance coverage for all health workers.
We know that material resources may matter, but human resources, the knowledge, and then the goodwill of the people also matters.
Members of the support committee appreciated the owner of Abuja, Musa Baba Yunusa, for galvanizing support of his colleagues in meeting the aspirations of frontliners. The health professionals also appealed to the people of Abuja to observe the physical distancing and other protocol outlined by NCDC. The fight against COVID-19 pandemic no doubt will be a thing of the past in the country if the citizenry adhere to the safety measures put in place by government to curtail the spread of the virus. Simon Asha, who was in Bokija, a village in Adamawa State, to find out whether or not the people are complying, reports.
It's not a respecter of person as it unleashes its venom on the people. And neither old nor young, rich or poor, we are all culpable to the virus unless all the safety measures put in place by the government is strictly adhered to by the society, especially rural dwellers. Then the fight against COVID-19 in the country can be a thing of the past. But the question is, are the rural dwellers aware of the virus?
To find out, NTA News was at Boyika village of Tongo local government area of Adamawa State, a community of no more than 200 people, and met a 35-year-old man and surprisingly could not let NTA crew into his house unless they wash their hands at the entrance to his compound.
Ana gaya mana gidan rediyo yadda za mu yi mu kiyaye kanmu, mu samu sabulu, mu samu ruwa sai mu wanke hannu.
Akwai ciwon nan kar a ce babu ba.
Well, in Ganya International Cattle Market, in Ganya local government area of the state, the market is devoid of the hustling and bustling that usually characterized the cattle market due to the closure of the borders by the state government to curtail any importation of the virus from the neighboring Cameroon Republic. Reverend Istifano Sabila is the chairman, Gaya local government area of Adamawa State.
People are aware that when they come to this market, they get money, so it's difficult to stop them. But we have been, to some extent, we have been very successful. With the support of the DPO, the immigration, they have all been putting their hands together, all the security operatives in Gaya local government and Tongo.
In Yola, Simon Asha, NTA News.
Kano State is one of the epicenters of the coronavirus pandemic in Nigeria. The initial skepticism by the residents has given way to more awareness on the need for social distancing and adherence to other personal health protocols, such as the use of face masks. Meanwhile, there are unconfirmed reports of COVID-19 patients vanishing from isolation centers in Kano in recent days, and this has thrown up some new poses. Joining me via telephone to speak further on this is the Deputy Coordinator, Technical Response Team, Kano COVID-19 Task Force, Dr. Sabitu Shuaibu Shanono. It's nice to have you join us on the news.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me too.
All right, so what is the situation on ground regarding this story?
Currently in Kano, we have patients in our isolation centers, which, as you all know, we currently have 4 different isolation centers.
Okay.
And we have the 5th one about to take off. And then we have 2 more isolation centers that will be added soon. And we have a lot of patients within these isolation centers. However, these reports, we're hearing them from you. There are no issues regarding vanishing of patients from our isolation centers. It has never happened and it will not happen, hopefully in Ghana.
So how functional are these centers really?
Yeah, centers, I can say that have been very functional. The first one was actually commissioned and it became functional weeks even before we had the first case. As a proactive measure by the state government, we had our first isolation center even before we had our first case. And from the time we had the first case, we have been actually trying to see how we can cope with the number, and then we have been trying to see how we can have a capacity that can take care of all the cases that we have in Kano at a time. So I can say that our isolation centers have been active, and there are patients currently in these isolation centers, and they are doing well.
Okay, so what is the level of compliance in terms of preventive measures in the state?
In terms of preventive measures, we will say that the level of compliance is satisfactory, especially with the pronouncement by the executive governor of Kano State, Dr. Abdullah Umar Ganduje, that wearing face mask is compulsory. We can say that people have actually heard to that advice and that pronouncement, and people have been using face mask, especially in gatherings and other places, even at homes. We can say that is good. And social distancing. In fact, the state is still in lockdown, but for the few days that we do have some relaxation, we still see that there are some level of observance of that social distancing. So we can say that the state is doing well in that aspect.
All right, Dr. Sabitu, thank you for your thoughts.
Thank you very much, too.
You're still watching Nationwide. Time now to join Sulaiman in our Kaduna studio for more reports. Nice to see you, Sulaiman.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth, and welcome to Kaduna. Most residents of Dutse, the Jigawa state capital, remain at home for the first time in many years, at a time when the city would have been thronged by lots of celebrations following the Eid al-Fitr prayer observed Sunday. With the coronavirus pandemic and the consequential lockdown in the affected areas, the long-practiced traditional Daba, among other traditional festivities, have been suspended for this year. Muhammad Musa Askira reports.
It's Emir of Dutse's palace, and for so many years, this palace has never been this deserted. But because of the lockdown order given by the state government and the suspension of Hawan Daushi, Hawan Sallah, and Hawan Bariki that have always been undertaken by these emirates, the place looks the way it is today.
We look forward to holding these events in the future. We are also not happy about that, but we can't do otherwise.
It is better we do the needful. And the needful for the time being is to wait until this pandemic is over. Then we can even enjoy it better.
Though there is no formal celebration in all the 5 emirate councils in Jigawa State, few residents of Dutse, particularly women and children, are sighted on the streets to visit friends and families despite the existing lockdown order in the state capital. On the other hand, police officers were busy enforcing compliance to the order, particularly on motorists and motorcyclists who, in the wake of the Eid al-Fitr Salah, are trying to breach the stay-at-home order. Residents of Dutse and many other places where celebrations are held during the Eid al-Fitr Salah would have to conform with the existing realities as presented by the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic in the country.
Life is uppermost. So when it comes to saving of life, we don't talk of any ism again.
Citizens remain prayerful to see the end of the COVID-19 pandemic, which continues to take toll on the global social and economic lives. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
In an effort to consolidate on its mandate of reducing poverty and unemployment through skills acquisition and entrepreneurship development, the National Directorate of Employment in Kano has trained more than 3,000 youths this year. Yohannes Asambaro reports that the trainees drawn from the 44 local government areas of the state were tutored on different skills.
In both developed and developing countries of the world, unemployment is a challenge that hinders normal life of the society. As key to fundamental national development, Nigeria is moving significant percentage of our youth out of poverty. And this is exactly what the National Directorate of Employment is doing in Kano with the training in vocational and agricultural skills, entrepreneurship development and public work programs. In 2020 alone, more than 3,000 youth have been trained on vocational skills development, which includes cosmetology, tailoring, carpentry, and leather works, among others. 23-year-old Jamilu Dahiru and 20-year-old Abdurrauf Sidi were among the recent beneficiaries of the NDE who undergo training in leatherworks and tailoring.
Now I can sew anything I wish to sew, and I thank God for that.
This lockdown did not stop me. If you know how to make a shoe, even in your house, you will do your work.
Can beat our chests and say, yes, NDE has achieved all that she really wants to. But with hindsight, we can achieve more with funding.
No doubt, Abdurrauf and Jamilu, like many others who undergo the training, their status has now changed from job seekers to job providers. In Kano, Yohana Sahasambaro, NTA News.
Now, Nationwide continues in Abuja with Elizabeth. Good afternoon.
As the country continues to battle with the coronavirus pandemic, Nigerians have been urged not to lose sight of the harmful effects of measles and other childhood killer diseases. This was the view of medical experts at a media orientation meeting for anti-measles campaign held in Owerri, the Imo State capital. Kingsley Oninu reports.
Although the federal and state governments have continued to make the effort towards stamping out the dreaded COVID-19, it is also imperative to pay attention to other childhood killer diseases such as measles in order to preserve the health of the future generation. It is in line with this that the United Nations Children Emergency Fund, UNICEF, in collaboration with the National Primary Health Care Development Agency and the National Orientation Agency, organized a one-day media orientation on campaign against measles.
In spite of COVID-19 pandemic that had made people to lock themselves up, that there is still need for mothers and other caregivers to go to the primary health centers to assess immunization for their child who have gotten up to a certain age.
The issue of immunization of children remains a routine thing at the primary health care centers situated all over our communities, all over our local government areas.
The Imo State Immunization Officer, Dr. Chibuzo Okurama, described measles as a highly infectious viral disease caused by the measles virus, which needs all hands to be on deck to be eliminated. In Owerri, Kingsley Onaniwu, NTA News.
Time now to join Ogochukwuka in Benin for more reports. Hello, Ogochukwuka.
Beth, good afternoon. The popular Obogonogo market in Asaba, Delta State, has the old section in flames this Tuesday. Kevin Ubeche reports that it affected the area where tailors produce face masks to mitigate the spread of COVID-19.
This is what is left of the old Obogonogo markets, with firefighters and well-meaning individuals struggling to put out the fire.
When the fire started, it started around 8. The security is there, some men are there. But when they are coming to quench the fire, security did not know them. Some wanted to break someone's shop and take the goods, and the goods that did not belong to them.
Salvaged goods litter the streets as shop owners count their losses.
Yesterday, my pikin go market, go buy some this thing. Where he wants to for people. About 10 bundles. All of them wasted. I borrowed money and use it for business. As this thing happen now, where will I start? Nothing.
I have 2 shops. All is gone, husband and wife, in this old market. So what they do to us is bad. They're even calling fire extinguished. They cannot come. They're bringing one tanker, no water. Everything is finished.
Our focus right now is to provide support to the fire service as well as psychosocial support to victims who have been affected.
Delta State government visited the market to ascertain the extent of damage and also console the victims.
We cannot promise you that everybody must be restored to their previous situation, but along the line, by the grace of God, we hope to meet them halfway.
The incident created heavy traffic along the popular Nebisi Road. However, trading resumed in earnest at some unaffected sections of the market. In Asaba, Calvin Ubechi, NTA News.
Very unfortunate. Now, every May 27 is set aside to celebrate children. The day comes with lots of funfair, and children always look forward to it. However, in the face of coronavirus pandemic, what will be the fate of children tomorrow? Elizabeth Omoko feels the pulse of some of them.
Every May 27, government, public, and private organizations engage school children in different activities, such as group outing, drama, and party, among others, to commemorate the day. While most parents use the occasion to bond with their children and what? There is no doubt that this year will be somewhat different for the children, no thanks to the outbreak ravaging the world and halting most economic, social, and academic activities.
I'm sad that there's coronavirus, but we'll not be able to go for Children's Day. So we'll be at home and celebrate it at home.
Normally go for picnic, but we cannot go again because of the coronavirus. So government should come and help us to chase the coronavirus away because we are not happy.
The thing just looks somehow because I've never seen this kind of situation before.
Governments, both federal and state, in their effort to curtail the spread of the virus, declared lockdown on key sectors, including education, making all schools to shut down and pupils to study at home, online, via the visual learning system. In Benin, Elizabeth Omoko, NTA News.
And now election matters. Following INEC's release of more policy guidelines for the conduct of elections in Edo and Ondo states during the coronavirus pandemic, Obehi Otoba Presai is in town to gauge the readiness of the electorate to comply with the new normal.
Like every other human activities affected by the coronavirus pandemic, the conduct of the upcoming election in Edo State will also witness a difference from the way elections were conducted before COVID-19. This is made apparent from the election guidelines just released by INEC, which includes the compulsory use of face masks and hand sanitizers by everyone involved in the election, strict adherence to physical distancing, and the compulsory COVID-19 tests for INEC staff before and after the election. 55-year-old Emmanuel Irevulu is one of the many Edo electorates who believe INEC's policy is a step in the right direction and an encouragement to the electorates to exercise their civic duty without fear of contracting the virus.
According to the NCDC and the World Health Organization, they are letting us know that we should give at least a meter distance between the person standing close to you. So that is what I'm going to do when the election comes on that very day.
INEC should ensure that how can the citizen maintain a social distances? That is what they should be concerned about. So it's not just their staff alone.
I'm prepared to participate anytime, any day. The election is coming.
INEC's timetable for the upcoming governorship election in the state indicates that notice of election is 1st of June, while the election proper has been scheduled to hold on the 19th of September. In Benin, Obehi Otoba Presai, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide. The news continues after the break. Please stay tuned.
The number of the COVID-19 cases in Nigeria is increasing daily, with many more tests ongoing. The battle of testing, isolating, treating, and attending to the affected persons rests heavily on the shoulders of our health workers, constantly putting their lives on the line and at risk to contain this virus, save and protect the lives of millions of Nigerians. To these health workers, we at the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, on behalf of millions of Nigerians, say a big thank you for all that you have done and are doing. To the security agencies enforcing the lockdown and every other frontliner, we say thank you for putting your lives on the line to save ours. There is no amount of words that can quantify our gratitude. Thank you. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
As a strong immune system increases the chances of victims surviving COVID-19, a corruption-free society creates opportunities for citizens to thrive and prosper. Build your immunity. Stop corruption now. Report all acts of corruption to ICPC on this toll-free number 0800 2255 4272. This message is brought to you by ICPC and NTA.
25th February 2020, Nigeria. It is real. It is a nightmare. It is killing people all over the world. It is COVID-19. Compliance with the various states in Nigeria, the current measures will flatten the curves. Shutting down is not an act of wickedness, but an act to save lives. Stay home, stay safe. Observe social distance. Always put on a face mask while leaving your house. Make sure you are on the tricycle alone. Cars and buses cannot carry more than half their passengers. Always remember to wash your hands. Together, we will defeat COVID-19. This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, Nigerian Film Corporation, powering possibilities.
Nigerians, let us take responsibility. Stay healthy, stay safe, and curb the spread of the virus. Take responsibility. The coronavirus spreads from one person to another. Let us avoid crowd gathering of any kind, for any reason. Take responsibility. Avoid traveling from one state to another during these lockdown restrictions. Obey all the rules that are put in place. Take responsibility. Stop spreading fake news and unverified reports about the coronavirus. There is no known cure for COVID-19. Take responsibility. Observe all the measures that can help stop the spread of the virus. Together, we can do this, but only if we take responsibility. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Thanks for staying with us. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has commended officers and men of the Nigerian Air Force for their unwavering commitment to nip in the bud and wholesome activities of insurgents that have bedeviled the northeast region of the country in the past. He said that this at a Salah lunch organized to honor officers of 153 Base Service Group, Yola, in the spirit of Eid al-Fitr. Simon Asha reports.
The Eid al-Fitr luncheon, unlike in the past, was commemorated in observance with COVID-19 protocol so as to prevent any unforeseen contingencies in cognizance with the global fight against coronavirus pandemic.
Before anyone could gain access into the operation area of the Nigerian Air Force Base, Yola, where the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, represented by the Commander 153 Base Services Group, Yola, Air Commodore Mohammed Yusuf, as he commemorates the Eid al-Fitr Salah celebration with officers and men who could not mark the occasion with their family. One must strictly adhere to the safety measures put in place by government in the fight against the invisible enemy, coronavirus.
We want to assure the Chief of the Air Staff that we are committed to ensuring our country is safe and our people can go about their normal lives.
Governor Ahmadu Umar Fintri of Adamawa State, also represented by his Chief of Staff, Professor Maxwell Gidado, says the fight against COVID-19 would not have been successful without the help of the Nigerian Air Force in conveying blood samples of suspected cases to Abuja for tests during the lockdown in the state.
The Adamawa State government is also appreciative of the role the Nigerian Air Force, particularly Air Force Base Yola, have been playing in assisting the state in the fight against this dreaded COVID-19.
Aside from sumptuous meals, guests were also treated with cultural dances to spice up the Eid al-Fitr celebration. In Yola, Simon Asha, NTA News.
In the spirit of Eid al-Fitr, marking the end of the fasting in the year 2020, equivalent to the Islamic calendar 1441 after the hijrah of Prophet Muhammad, Salih Abdullah's visit to a Muslim home further showcased this year's celebration as unique.
7 is a day etched in Nigeria's history for obvious reasons. One, that forced the hand of the Nigerian government to impose a total lockdown, to its easing, and now to the ban on interstate movement across the country, all as a result of COVID-19. Nigerians are faced with this reality that is seemingly unpredictable, even as Muslim Ummah mark Eid al-Fitr. In search of a Muslim home, I visited Dawaki, one of the satellite communities in the Federal Capital Territory. As at the time of my visit, the street was still asleep. After the routine hygiene protocol, I was welcomed to this humble family of 5. The ambience of a visitor to the home obviously woke up Zahir and Zinat as they proceeded to join their uncle in performing their morning obligatory duty. From there, it is breakfast. For the family of Akim Olakpadi, living a private life has become dramatic.
Food is now indoor from kitchen, so it has really been a hectic, and I think I need to give it to their teachers. They're really trying. You just have to start cooking like up to 7 times, 6 times, because after cooking this, so mommy I want this, mommy not this, mommy I want that.
Children, playground, adults play, just kind of fun game. We really miss that game. Usually be routine, and after then you can resort back to different parks in Abuja and have outing experience like. So everything is miss out.
Fortunately, after several hours, the NTA crew were the only guests entertained in this home and the compound housing 10 flats. To this family and others, there is a lot to talk about the before, during, and even after the coronavirus.
It is being the fasting that you fasted, and one agenda, common agenda for everybody is to pray for the world, to pray for the country, for God to have intervention and heal the world, because everybody is facing one particular pandemic that is unknown, is unseen.
Even our neighbors, though, they sometimes don't even want to come close to us or even make their children come to our own house. We the same thing, It has not been easy, but we have to cope because of the present situation at hand.
I pray Allah make this pandemic come to an end as sooner as it could.
My name The anthem has become, "Oh God, save us." And so I joined to make a wish that God Almighty should bring to an end the coronavirus pandemic, so that the family of Akim Olakpadi and indeed Nigerians will resume their normal lives. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Thank you, Salih, for that report. Nigerians see the seamless access to petroleum products in spite of the lockdown to cope the dreaded COVID-19 spread as a pointer to a strong capacity for the nation's economic revival post-COVID-19. Abdullahi Sulaiman Iyadi was on the streets of Abuja, where motorists commended government for ensuring that fuel supply is unhindered.
A visit to major filling stations in the Federal Capital Territory reveals an ease to get petrol by motorists.
It's very easy. Fuel anywhere, you get it very easy without queue. Okay. So we thank the government and the way things are getting easier.
Oh my God, I love Nigeria so much. In fact, I can't even get out of this country. You know why? Because the fuel here is perfect, it's sharp.
Even with the lockdown, we were lucky enough that the filling stations continued working. So fuel has not really been a problem for us.
This development, an oil dealer attributes to effective administrative measures, which he commends government for.
For a very long time, since the inception of this government, we've not been having all that excruciating scarcity that make people to buy in panic way and begin to keep.
The Department of Petroleum Resources further assures that the tempo will be sustained in spite of the lockdown.
I want to urge the public not to do any panic buying. Whether it's diesel, whether it's PMS, they should not do any panic buying. We have the product available on ground. We go around to make sure that the product are available and the sales is ongoing smoothly without any hints.
Many filling stations in the nation's capital were seen dispensing at the approved pump price. Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji, NTA News.
And our next port of call is Enugu, where Mina will be guiding us. Hello, Mina.
Elizabeth, good afternoon and welcome to Enugu Network Center. The Enugu State Government has commenced the decontamination of all court premises and fuel stations in the state as part of the ongoing efforts at curbing the spread of the coronavirus. The exercise, which commenced at the State Judiciary Headquarters, Enugu, is the third phase of the process, which began with the decontamination of markets in April this year. Susan Eze has details.
The decontamination of the premises of the Enugu Judiciary Headquarters marks the kickoff of the process of decontamination of all court premises in the state, comprising of the High, the Magistrate, and the customary courts across the entire state. The State Chief Fire Officer said the courts and fuel stations witness high human traffic, hence the need to decontaminate the environments. This, he said, will be a continuous process, as some of the public places in the state that have been covered in the first phase of the decontamination program, such as markets, parks, hospitals, and other high-traffic areas, would be repeated for maximum results in this fight against COVID-19.
Before the end of this week, we'll cover the High Courts and the Magistrate Court. The purpose is to prevent coronavirus from affecting our people. From here now, we are starting filling stations. We have over 150 filling stations in the Enugu metropolis.
On behalf of the State Chief Judge, the Chief Registrar, Enugu High Court, appreciated the move, noting that the judiciary, having not fully locked down, has been operating in strict compliance with the COVID-19 safety protocols.
We were doing essential cases. We have local government election tribunal court on all through the lockdown.
The decontamination of all court premises in the state by the government tallied with the directive of the Chief Justice of the Federation for all courts in the country to be decontaminated to guard against any infections in the court premises. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
In continuation of the Enugu State Government's donation of palliatives to vulnerable members of society, commercial tricycle operators in 3 urban local government areas in the state have also benefited from the gesture. The beneficiaries from Enugu North, South, and East local government areas promised to cooperate with the Enugu State Government in its efforts to combat the spread of the disease. Once again, Susan Eze reports that the gesture is coming from the State Emergency and Palliatives Committee on COVID-19. The report.
The donation, comprising various food items and hundreds of cloth face masks for the riders in each of the 3 local government areas, exemplifies the state government's concern for the well-being and safety of residents of the state. The state chairman, Association of Tricycle Riders Transport Union, Mr. Benjamin Ejiofor, on behalf of the riders, appreciated the government efforts in fighting the virus and caring for the people. In members, he said, we reciprocate government's efforts.
Look at all these items. I am very much happy, and I know that all the Keke are here present, they are happy. And we are always happy with this present administration.
Palliatives Committee Chairman and Deputy Governor, who was represented by a member of the committee and special advisor to the Governor on Agriculture, Mr. Mike Obwekwe, enjoined the tricycle operators to support the state government in the fight against COVID-19 by obeying the safety protocols and guidelines for commercial transport operators in the state.
Please ensure that you observe social distancing when you carry your passengers. You don't carry more than the required number as prescribed. May you continue to support His Excellency in ensuring that our people adhere to the safety procedures.
The items are to be distributed among the vulnerable members of the association in Enugu North, South, and East local government areas. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
And from Abia State, the state government has raised concern over what it described as the alarming increase in the numbers of violators of boundary closure order as the state continues to witness a large number of people attempting to enter or leave the state through the state land boundaries. A former Ndukoli was at some of the boundaries and now reports.
Since the closure of all land boundaries in Abia State 7 weeks ago, the State Ministry of Homeland Security has been collaborating with local government chairmen and other security agencies to contain influx of people into the state. Secretary to Abia State government pointed out that in addition to setting up enforcement teams in various markets and local government areas, the state has equally concluded plans to set up molecular labs at strategic centers to further check the spread of the virus.
In a few weeks' time, you have our molecular labs operating. And once they start operating, we'll carry out our tests right in Abia here. And then we'll embark on aggressive tests so that we can be sure of the status of everybody moving in and around Abia.
Although the state government has set up mobile courts at the boundary towns to penalize violators of COVID-19 safety rules, controlling the number of people attempting to enter or leave the state has become a daunting task for security operatives and the COVID-19 task force team in the state.
People are very stubborn. When you ask them not to move out, they will try to do everything to flout the law.
People are being forced to comply with the directive. It is constituting a lot of pressure on the security operatives.
Abia State recently recorded 5 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Umuahia, Ifeoma Ndukoli, NTA News.
And that's a bit from over here. Lisbeth is back to you for a continuation of Nationwide.
Now to felicitations. President Muhammad Buhari has congratulated Oba Oladuni Oyewumi Ajagbade III, the Shom of Ogbomoso, as he turns 94 today. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, President Buhari describes the utmost 5-decade reign of the monarch as having witnessed peace, prosperity and development with the natives and settlers alike in Ogbomoso. Adding that the collaboration governments at both state and national levels have enjoined from the traditional ruler is invaluable. The president prayed for continued good health, sound mind and longevity for Oba Oyewumi. Now to condolence, President Muhammad Buhari condoles with the government and people of Ogun State, as well as the family of Alhaji Laidi Orunsholu, the chief imam of Egbaland, who passed away on Tuesday, May 26, 2020, aged 98. In a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, the president salutes the life and utmost submission to the will of Almighty Allah lived by the departed, who was also President General of the League of Imams and Afars in Ogun State, praying for the departed to be bountifully rewarded in the hereafter. President Buhari also charges all those who mourn Alhaji Orunsholu to derive challenge from his devout life and seek to approximate same. And that's Nationwide today. Thank you so much for being a part of it.